buildings, a hospital, all burning. Tonight, we fly you right over the scene. Also tonight, President Trump and his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn. Flynn pleading guilty, now cooperating with Robert Mueller. And our reporter now asking the president, are you preparing to pardon Flynn? The president's phone calls today rattling some world leaders. Is the president now preparing to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel? Tonight, the U.S. military preparing for any possible violence at American embassies. Martha Raddatz standing by. Just in tonight, news of a close call at JFK Airport. Was a passenger jet about to land where a Delta flight was already on the runway? The breaking world headline tonight, Russia banned from the Winter Olympics. No flag, no anthem. And the house explosion rocking a suburban neighborhood. Emergency crews at the scene right now.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. And we begin with those wildfires. Multiple fires now burning across Southern California. Evacuations underway at this hour. The fires erupting at sundown just 24 hours ago. By morning, already destroying more than 45,000 acres. Homes and that hospital I mentioned. The largest fire tonight threatening heavily populated Ventura County. The governor declaring a state of emergency there late today. More than 27,000 people forced to evacuate. And in this satellite image tonight from space, you can see the smoke from the fires right there. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Ventura, California tonight.
Tonight, homes in flames, thousands evacuated.
They're attacking it the best they can. That's all they can do because this wind is moving it in every direction.
As wildfires burn out of control in California.
We had a rough night last night.
The Thomas Fire in Ventura County, northwest of Los Angeles, exploding to 70 square miles in a matter of hours. The flames heading right for the city of Ventura and its 100,000 residents.
We are seeing an entire apartment complex engulfed in flames as fire crews try to put water on it. But look over here. There's another large fire burning on the other side of this hill.
The California Police Department, mandatory evacuation due to the fire.
First responders going door to door overnight,
anybody home?
evacuating more than 27,000 residents, many forced to drive out through an inferno.
This is literally like 15 feet away from us right now.
This group panicked as the flames start closing in.
We need to get out of here as soon as possible. That fire is right there.
The Vista Del Mar Hospital destroyed. All patients and staff making it out in time. By daybreak, firefighters finally able to begin their aerial assault. The ferocious Santa Ana winds unrelenting. KABC's Mark Cota-Robles.
This camera is blowing up for my photographer right now. It's got to be upwards of 70 miles per hour.
The flames turning entire neighborhoods into cinders.
My house is gone and all the neighbors around me are all gone as well. All of them.
This home burning from the inside out. We met Tracy Bird recording the destruction, helpless as her home burned to the ground.
I can't even describe what I'm thinking. My mind is not even really connecting with it all yet. And yet there it is.
Tonight, the Thomas Fire, just one of multiple blazes scorching the state. To the south, the Creek Fire on the northern edge of Los Angeles, forcing more evacuations. That fire also out of control. And in Santa Clarita, the Rye Fire jumping Interstate 5, shutting down that major highway.
So let's get to Marcus Moore joining us live tonight, and we can see that stunning scene behind you, the flames, the home gutted, and I know there's real concern tonight because of these windy conditions expected to continue.
Yeah, that's right, David. That high wind has been picking up the embers, and those embers have really been skipping from house to house, jumping over some homes, but destroying others. And the other problem we're hearing about, water pressure. Firefighters telling me that they've had to let some homes burn because they simply didn't have enough water pressure in some of those hydrants, perhaps because of the power outages. David.
Just a devastating scene playing out there behind you. Marcus, our thanks to you. And just moments ago here, we got the view from above the fires from our team at KABC. There is real concern with zero containment on these fires so far. And JT Alpa from our station in Los Angeles, KABC, joining us tonight as he's flying over the Creek Fire. JT, I know it's been an incredibly busy day for you. Thank you for being with us tonight. And you're over a very active scene right now, the Creek Fire. How large is this and what are you seeing?
Well, this fire is 11,000 acres right now, David. We'll take you outside and show you the picture of the Creek Fire. 11,000 acres, and we're using our technology, SkyMap 7, to show you where the fire is burning. And as you can see, there is a lot of smoke obscuring the fire. This is because of the Santa Ana condition that's obscuring all the homes down in there. We can actually fade in satellite technology where we can see the homes that are being affected. This fire has moved extremely fast, 20, 30, 40 mile an hour gusts, even some gusts up to 60 and 70 70 miles have been reported. Multiple homes have been destroyed, and these fires are very dangerous in this area, and there's no relief in sight.
It's really something when you actually place the map on top of that smoke to give us an idea of just how many families are being affected by this right now as we're on the air. You mentioned those Santa Ana conditions, the winds tonight fueling these fires, and what are authorities saying on the ground about the winds?
These Santa Anas are very strong northeast winds, gusting to 20-30 miles an hour, and they come down through these canyons in the mountains through Southern California, and they rip through these neighborhoods. We usually get them in October, so we're having a very late season. In fact, David, if we tilt up, you can actually see the second fire out in Ventura County. We'll use our pointer right in this area. That is the Thomas Fire. 3 major fires, all wind-driven events, all in the Southern California, burning simultaneously. Thousands are affected, many homes lost. It's a terrible scene out here, and we're just trying to stay ahead of it.
All right, well, we're certainly thinking about all of those families being affected by these 3 separate fires tonight. JT Elpaugh and the team at KABC. JT, Thank you.
Thank you, David.
And from JT to meteorologist Rob Marciano tonight. He's also there in the fire zone at this hour. And Rob, we can see the firefighters putting out hot spots, the flames right behind you, and the winds are supposed to keep coming.
They are. They haven't abated much now, and these fire crews under structure protection just came into this area. This has been one of the more explosive regions in the fire zone today, with winds gusting over 70 miles an hour. It's gotten these flames rolling in a hurry, and you see these guys are hard at work, no doubt about that. The wind is still blowing, the dust, the smoke. It's horrible conditions out here. Want to show you the setup, classic Santa Ana winds with the high pressure and control over the mountains, offshore winds, high fire danger. We've got the high wind warnings out tonight, and gusts that should continue. A bit of a break tomorrow morning, but another shot coming tomorrow night, and by Thursday morning could see winds gusting over 40 miles an hour in San Diego, in Los Angeles. Again, might even be a worse setup then than it was last night. Not something these firefighters on the ground want to hear. David?
Rob Marciano watching this into the night. Be safe, Rob, and those firefighters hard at work tonight. The other breaking headline at this hour, President Trump is expected to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel tomorrow. If so, it would be a momentous shift in U.S. foreign policy. And tonight, the president's phone calls with several world leaders. Some are now very concerned about this move and potential flare-ups. Even the U.S. military is now on alert at some embassies. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, tonight.
Tonight, President Trump's calls to Arab leaders, one after another, prompting new alarm. And this evening, Israel is bracing for trouble. Recognizing Jerusalem as the capital and moving the embassy could end chances for peace and begin a cycle of violence. Egypt's president saying a move could undermine peace opportunities. Jordan's king saying it will provoke Muslims and Christians alike, and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas calling it unacceptable, with various Palestinian factions calling for 3 days of rage.
It's safe to say, other than Israel, which thinks that this move is 22 years overdue, that all of the feedback that he's been getting from world leaders is overwhelmingly negative about this idea.
No, again, he spoke with 5 leaders. That's hardly indicative of everybody across the globe.
But there is no other country in the world that has its embassy in Jerusalem, and Palestinians view East Jerusalem, where there is an Arab majority, as the capital of any future Palestinian state. President Trump does not want to preclude that possibility, and the embassy move could take years.
All right, so let's get to Martha Raddatz with us live from Washington tonight. And Martha, as you said there, this announcement expected, making Jerusalem the capital of Israel, and the move of the U.S. embassy will take time here, but all of this already causing concern tonight.
That's right, David. U.S. officials are already sending warnings about potential widespread demonstrations starting tomorrow, telling American citizens to avoid places where crowds are gathering, while prohibiting U.S. government employees and their families from entering Jerusalem's Old City, Bethlehem, and other areas. And Marine Corps fast teams are being sent to provide extra security at some embassies throughout the region, David.
All right, we'll be watching this through tomorrow for sure, Martha, with you. In the meantime, next tonight to the Russia investigation, former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn pleading guilty to lying to the FBI, now cooperating with Robert Mueller. Tonight, after the president changed his tone in recent days on Michael Flynn, our reporter asking, is the president preparing to pardon Flynn? Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
With Mike Flynn's plea bargain creating new troubles for the White House, today the president was tight-lipped on whether he would pardon his former national security advisor.
Any plans to pardon General Flynn, Mr. President?
Thank you very much.
Any plans to pardon General Flynn, Mr. President?
Thanks, Fred. Thank you.
Ever since Flynn pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI, President Trump's reaction decidedly mixed, from uncertainty
We'll see what happens.
to sympathy.
Well, I feel badly for General Flynn. I feel very badly. He's led a very strong life. Hillary Clinton lied many times to the FBI. Nothing happened to her. Flynn lied, and they destroyed his life.
Former FBI Director James Comey testified he had no reason to believe Hillary Clinton lied.
Lock him up!
Flynn agreed to cooperate fully with the special counsel investigation. And today, the White House press secretary left the door open to a possible pardon.
Would he consider pardoning him?
I'm not aware of that has come up or any process or decision on that front. I think before we start discussing the pardons for individuals, we should see, what happens in specific cases too.
So is it fair to say it's on the table?
No, I just said I haven't had the conversation with them because I don't feel that it's necessary until, you get further down the road and determine whether or not that's even something needed.
And Cecilia Vega back with us live again tonight at the White House. And Cecilia, Reuters and Bloomberg first reporting today that Deutsche Bank has now been subpoenaed by Robert Mueller in the Russia investigation. But the president's lawyer making it clear today, saying that subpoena has nothing to do with President Trump.
Strong pushback from this lawyer and from the White House, David. President Trump's attorney, Jay Sekulow, released a statement. Take a look. He says the news reports that the special counsel had subpoenaed financial records relating to the president are false. No subpoena has been issued or received. We have confirmed this with the bank and our sources. We are also tonight learning that about the cost for the first 4 months of Robert Mueller's investigation, about the first 4 months, I should say, $6.7 million so far, David.
Cecilia Vega at the White House. Thank you, Cecilia. Next to Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore and the about face from the Republican National Committee. The RNC pulled funding, saying of the multiple women, their accusations are, quote, very concerning. Suddenly now, the RNC now helping him again. So what changed? And tonight, the one Republican senator who is now writing a check to Roy Moore's opponent, writing he's putting country over party. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Tom Llamas, in Alabama tonight.
For the first time, President Trump today speaking out about his decision to endorse Roy Moore, a man accused of molesting teenage girls.
I think he's going to do very well. We don't want to have a liberal Democrat in Alabama, believe me.
The Republican National Committee had cut ties with Moore when the allegations of abuse surfaced.
The allegations were obviously very concerning and concerning to the degree that we pulled our resources.
But following the president's lead, now the RNC is once again helping Roy Moore. And on Capitol Hill, other Republicans are also falling in line. Senator Mitch McConnell once called on Moore to drop out.
He's obviously not fit to be in the United States Senate.
But then this apparent change in tone.
Do you believe that Judge Moore should be in the Senate?
I'm going to let the people of Alabama make the call.
Today, McConnell insists he's been consistent.
Yeah, there's been no change of heart.
Some Republicans still firmly against Moore. Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona sending this $100 check to Moore's Democratic opponent, Doug Jones, writing on the memo line, country over party.
We can't become the party of Roy Moore as Republicans.
Moore has denied any accusation of sexual misconduct, but with 1 week before the election, his rival, Jones, is making sure voters don't forget.
I damn sure believe that I have done my part to ensure that men who hurt little girls should go to jail and not the United States Senate.
Tonight, Roy Moore will have a rally here in Fairhope, Alabama, just behind me. Supporters are showing up right now. And David, we want to point out, even though the RNC is helping out Roy Moore, the National Republican Senatorial Committee, whose only goal is to help Republicans get elected to the Senate, they're sticking on the sidelines. And the chairman, Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado, saying if Roy Moore gets elected to the Senate, he should be expelled. David?
All right, 1 week to go in this race. Tom Llamas, our thanks to you again tonight. Next year, Congressman John Conyers, under growing pressure after multiple allegations of misconduct, announces he is now retiring effective today. The first member of Congress to exit as part of this current wave of sexual misconduct allegations. Conyers denies the accusations of sexual harassment made by several female members of his staff. But he did announce his retirement in a call-in to a radio show today from the hospital where he is recovering from stress.
I am retiring today, and I want everyone to know how much I appreciate the support, the incredible, undiminished support I've received across the years from my supporters, not only in my district, but across the country as well.
Conyers, at 88 years old, was the longest-serving member of Congress and a civil rights pioneer. He's now endorsing his 27-year-old son, John, in the election to replace him. Next to that, stunning news on the Olympics tonight. The Russian team now banned from the 2018 Winter Games, just months away. No flag, no anthem, and the question tonight, how will Russia respond? Here's ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran.
Russia, a Winter Olympics powerhouse, triumphant host of the last games in Sochi, tonight banned from next year's competition in South Korea because of doping.
This was an unprecedented attack on the integrity of the Olympic Games.
The International Olympic Committee's ruling means there will be no Russian team, no Russian flag, no Russian uniform, no Russian anthem. The scheme, exposed by the former head of Russia's anti-doping lab, was staggering. The scientist alleging that during the Sochi Games, Russian intelligence agents posed as maintenance workers, entering the athlete testing lab, then breaking into tamper-proof collection bottles and swapping dirty urine for clean samples. A later report concluded more than 1,000 athletes were involved. Vladimir Putin has denied it was a state-sponsored cover-up. It's unclear tonight how the Kremlin will respond. Only individual Russian athletes who can prove they're not doping will be allowed to compete in the upcoming games wearing a neutral warm-up. No word on whether the Kremlin's going to allow that. David?
This was big news today. Terry Moran, our thanks to you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Tuesday. Late word coming in. The close call at JFK Airport was a passenger jet about to land where a Delta flight was already on the runway. You're going to hear from the control tower, them urging pilots to go around several times. The major snowstorm tonight, more than 120 accidents on the highways, plunging temperatures right behind and moving east, dropping 30 degrees in many places later this week. Then the house explosion rocking a suburban neighborhood tonight. The pictures coming in right now. Emergency crews on the scene at this hour. A lot more news ahead. News of that close call at New York's JFK Airport, a passenger plane coming in for a landing on the wrong runway. Another plane sitting right there in its path. Here's ABC's David Curley tonight.
The apparent close call at JFK this afternoon when the pilots of a Mexican jetliner lined up to land on the wrong runway, a runway a Delta jet was readying to take off from. The pilot of that commuter jet sees a bigger plane coming right at him.
All right, let's go to the plane on final. Yeah, I see that. Circuit 1431, cancel takeoff plans.
Polaris Flight 880, an A320, was cleared to land on runway 13 left, but the pilots of the jetliner lined up to 13 right, which is about 10,000 feet to the south. That's where that Delta jet was already getting ready to roll for takeoff.
Polaris 880, you're lining up for 13 right, change 3 left, make a left turn, you're lining up for the wrong runway.
Go around.
Polaris 880, go around, turn left.
That is the Mexican jetliner going around. It's unclear how close it actually came to the Delta jet at the end of that same runway. Tonight, the FAA says only it is aware of the incident. Its controllers issued that go-around order. Neither airline has commented so far. David?
David Curley, our thanks to you. When we come back tonight, news coming in on Jimmy Kimmel's baby boy. And that major snowstorm tonight, the winter blast moving across the country. Blizzard conditions from Fargo, North Dakota to the Twin Cities tonight. Minnesota State Police responding to more than 120 accidents in 12 hours. Brutal cold now sweeping across much of the country behind it into the Northeast. Temperatures plunging 30 degrees for some feeling like single digits in the Midwest. The Supreme Court hearing arguments pitting civil rights against religious liberty. It surrounds a wedding cake, a Colorado baker who violated the state's anti-discrimination law when he refused to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple, claiming it would violate his religious beliefs and his right to artistic expression in making that cake. The case drawing hundreds of protesters from both sides of the case. The house explosion in Woodlawn, Maryland tonight, the blast leveling a home, spraying debris throughout the neighborhood. No one inside, at least 5 neighboring homes damaged, no injuries. Emergency crews now checking for possible gas leaks. And news tonight about Jimmy Kimmel's baby boy, Billy, his 7-month-old son undergoing another successful heart operation. Earlier this year, Kimmel revealing Billy had undergone open heart surgery just days after being born. We are rooting for little Billy tonight. When we come back here, the police officer racing up the stairs, you have to see this, and the baby who desperately needed that officer's help. Tonight here, America Strong, baby Bella and the officer answering the call. Here's Steve Osunsami.
The call for help had just come into the Savannah-Chatham Metro Police Department.
We need an ambulance. We need an ambulance.
Officer William Eng responded, his body camera rolling the whole time.
I have an infant that is not breathing.
He spoke to us today on the phone.
My first instinct was to just get up the stairs as fast as I can.
He reaches for the baby in her mother's arms. Bella is just 29 days old.
It was pretty traumatic, but I basically just focused on the baby.
Placing Bella on her stomach and beginning compressions. And after one terribly long minute, a good sign.
She started moving. I heard a little baby cry. It's like, okay, she's good. She's moving.
The baby went to the hospital, and tonight she's okay. On Monday at police headquarters, the family shared their thanks.
Sometimes angels don't come from heaven. God have them already here.
The mother tells us her daughter is here today because of this officer's good work